Come on. There we go. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Long-awaited weekly series on Wicked Training. I'm going to present on a different topic each week and then take, live Q&A about the topic or about whatever the heck you want. So I'm pretty pumped. This is going to be recorded. So it'll be sent out as well if you have to bolt early or if you're watching this on recording. I have a couple of slides to orient us, and then we're going to dive right into a Wicked account and get into it. So let me share my screen and get into things here. Thanks for coming. So we have live chat going, and I've been presenting, dealing with attribution 20,000 hours now. A long time to be talking about attribution, let me tell you. So I can be interrupted at any time and pretty much take any questions you want and give my best chance to help you. So don't worry about not wanting to ruin my flow. I'll be fine. So just a couple of slides just to orient us here. I'm going to leave maybe here over on the side so you can see it's not going to be all PowerPoint. We're going to get into the actual tool itself. There's a couple of things to mention. So our agenda, I want to very quickly review a couple product updates, 2 minutes, then we'll get into the training. So product updates, you could have seen the announcement, scheduled email reports. You can now schedule them to get emailed to you daily or monthly. So that's pretty sweet. Rather than having to log in, then you can forward it along to whoever you need to. And there's also a product release of Wicked Postbacks, which most of you won't care about that at all, but a few of you will love it. A postback is if you're collecting data and you want to send it to us to be included in your clicks or things to be attributed, you can post that to us. Or if you're collecting certain clicks of different kinds and you think you have, if you're very techie and you're collecting your own stuff, you can send it to us quite easily. So that's pretty cool for the 10% of you that love that stuff. The rest of you, I just wasted 20 seconds of your life. Coming up in March, the Facebook conversion API. Everyone's all geeked out about that. We're doing it for leads first. This does not fix iOS 14 problems, but it does just help Facebook do better. And Facebook's going to need all the help it can get due to iOS 14. I'm going to be presenting on iOS 14. We have a webinar coming in a week or two about that internally. I've had a couple podcasts on that already that you could read up on. And, we're unaffected by iOS 14 in terms of our reporting. So that's good news. But just so you know, that's coming down the pike. Additionally, Wicked video playbooks and frameworks. So there's these 3 to 10 minute videos and or reading download PDFs of the step-by-step of how to use each report. That's being embedded into the platform next month. I'm going to actually show you one of those frameworks is the basis of the training today. So you have an idea of what to expect. But we're super psyched because it's how the data analysts are trained up on the team here at Wicked. And it dawned on me, geez, they should just be in the tool so you can do it yourself without having to get some big long training. Why not 10 minutes and then be on your way? So I was pretty excited. There's a lot of work for me, so I hope it works. Hope it works. It should work. That's what we've been using all along behind the scenes of these frameworks. So now they're just going to be more public. And then also coming is something called Sales Assist. For any of you that feel like, well, the most common scenario for a Sales Assist is a type of conversion we're going to start tracking, which is if your last click was from your search branded campaign and you are very sure that a click before that led to the sale. Could be, YouTube click or a Facebook click, whatever, anything. Point is the click before the click that made the sale is now going to be included in our multi-touch models. There's a lot of demand for that. We used to have it and we took it out. We're putting it back in, new and improved. So if that's of interest, we're doing requirements on it next week, and you can just email me, Scott at Wicked Reports, if you're like really excited about what I just said, and I'll have you in touch with John, our product manager, so you can help be a part of how that's going to work. That's how we build all these things. We generally work with the customers that are most passionate about a particular product feature get to contribute to it so that it works for you. So here are the scheduled email reports. This is the top of an email. I just kind of cut it in there, not it's data. So it's only so exciting, I mean, I think data is exciting, but we can email you out your data on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So that can be scheduled from within the reports. We also have other traffic sources, Pin, Snap, Text, Rakuten. I mean, we're already tracking them all, but now we've created quick filters to get at them. And then also in like our customer journey explorer, you'll see this different icon, other. As you can see in this given time frame, 25% of the revenue was from these other sources. They're big. They used to be piled in with organic, which they're not. These are usually paid or a lot of work, at least a lot of marketing effort, not really just organically coming to you. So we now are calling them out. So you'll see this filter in the ROI reports. You'll see it in the Journey Explorer, and you can then map, the different paths that led to the revenue. So that brings us to the topic today, how to optimize your marketing for ROI and LTV. So there's two things I want to cover is first, how to select the correct attribution model, and then the framework itself. And then we'll go into a live account and apply the framework. And you'll see it's very repeatable, which is what I'm excited about. It's not like I have to comb the data and magically, find some sparkly ROI somewhere. It's very consistent. So that's why I like it. You can do it. It's not like you'll need Wicked Scott to, look over your shoulder all the time. So here's how to pick the attribution models. This is kind of like my criteria. And I realize that I talk about this a lot, or if I explain it, people tend to get it. But what I want was a nice way for you to be able to look it up and consider different attribution models based on your goal. Your goal for that campaign should drive which attribution model you use to score the revenue. And a lot of attribution chatter is about, cross device. Oh, my person has 85 touch points. And people get really lost in a lot of the cool, advanced intellectual concepts when they want to talk about attribution, or at least they do when they're talking with me. But really, it should be quite simple. Like, it's a method of choosing score to determine, do I want to spend more here? Do I want to just spend the same? Or do I want to spend less? Do I want to scale, kill, or chill? And so to do that, there's three things to consider, revenue reconciliation, which is, do you want all your conversion revenue to add up to what was in your shopping cart or payment system for a given time period? Now, most people want that, and that's why most of our models do that, because we don't want overcounting. However, one particular model, Full Impact, that we use does not reconcile to your cart. It will probably overcount your revenue. And that's okay for that model as long as you understand it and you're using it for the right reasons. The buying cycle matters in terms of how soon an attribution model is ready for you to use in Wicked Reports. If you're brand new to Wicked Reports and you've been using it for a week, I wouldn't want you going in and making big decisions based on first click until at least one buying cycle has run through that campaign. And a buying cycle is how long leads take to buy, which you can just go to your predictive behavior report and see how long leads took to buy. And so once there's a measure in there, campaign effectiveness evaluation period. Once that period has been met, that's a buying cycle, then all the models are ready. But until then, don't use the top cold traffic funnels. Wait until they've had a chance to buy. And then touch points is something single touch or multi-touch. Sometimes single touch makes a lot of sense. And sometimes you want multi-touch just to determine how well something's doing. You don't really care why, just is it making me money or not? So now with the definitions out of the way, when to pick a model is just look at this, best used to measure. So like if you're doing a traffic to get cold new leads, then use new lead. That it's in the name. It's specifically used to measure new leads from cold traffic mapped to lifetime value. That's what you should use after a buying cycle is completed. If you're just saying what's closing me sales, I don't, my product's a commodity. No one cares about consideration or interest or education. It's like selling a toothbrush, something that's like no consideration. No, it's an object. Then last click is great. Last click's also great because you also want to know at the end of that cycle, what's finally converting people. So last click's the easiest to understand. I had a sale. What did they click on to buy? That's how that works. Now, the multi-touch models, linear or full impact, is this working somehow, some way? Is it making me money, one of these various touch points? So the big difference is, do you mind if revenue is overcounted or not? Now, most of our models don't overcount revenue because we don't like that. I don't want to lie about conversion value or get you, Facebook. I mean, the whole reason of getting a multi-channel, multi-touch solution is that your conversions are getting credit in the right spot. However, full impact works good when you want a louder signal, and particularly when you're first starting out or the campaign's newer and you haven't had, if your campaign's new, it's only been running for 3 to 4 days potentially, and you just want to know, hey, is this starting to work somewhere, somehow? It's nice to have full impact because if a campaign gets credit for at least one of these 4 conversions, it's going to get 100% revenue credit. I'll give you an example to make that easier. Selling something for $100. You have 2 campaigns running, one that gets leads, one that gets sales. If campaign A gets the lead and campaign B gets the sale, in full impact, they're each going to show $100, which is going to then overcount your revenue and thus not reconcile. Whereas in linear, same situation, campaign A would get $50 credit and campaign B would get $50 credit. So we'd spread the value between the touch points. Now, the reason why we liked full impact and still keep it in there is that sometimes as an agency or as a brand, you're running a lot of convert campaigns and there's a lot of cross-referencing and cross-touching. If something's contributing to a sale, you want to make sure that it gets a loud signal to you. And particularly if you don't get if you're not a high volume advertiser and there's less conversions, it's nice to have a louder signal. And the signal in this case being revenue. And so that's why we created one where if you touched a sale, you get the revenue credit. We won't give you, more than one sale credit for the same sale if you had multiple touch points, but that's the theory behind it. And so it can work nice, but you will sometimes see that the attribution coverage is well over 100% because that means we've tracked over the amount of revenue you've had for the period. So this is kind of how it works. So this matrix is going to be in there, injected into Wicked about 10 days. We're just finalizing which tool we're using to do that so that it can slide in and out in the least annoying way. I don't want to create some Microsoft Office. Anyone use Microsoft Office had the little paper clip that like supposed to be helpful and was like really annoying, hoping not to create the wicked paper clip. We actually want it to be helpful. So this is coming in there along with these frameworks. So now I want to get to the framework. Before I click on it, I want to pull up my Wicked Reports here. So I'm in here. I'm in Get Me a Lobster account the past 3 months. You can see a nice crescendo for the Christmas buying season. Now he's kind of leveling out, still doing great though. And I wanted to highlight one thing before we get to the actual ROI report. Look at his under his more channels. You come here, you click the more channels. Attentive for text, and some of you using PostScript for text. Same thing, not the same thing, but same idea. Text is extremely hot with all our e-com clients, and we can track it just fine. Just put UTMs on the link. Very simple. And I just want to point out, 400K in 3 months off text ordering. So, it's really a big deal here for him. And then Rakuten may be one to consider. I know their ads have been everywhere here in the US, super annoying, but people are buying off the app. So again, another easy way to do this. Easy way to track. Just, you put UTMs on the Rakuten. Now, Attentive is free. Rakuten, we do not have a cost integration, so he would be adding the costs in here under other marketing costs. He could go in and just type in what he paid, but he hasn't done that, so I'm leaving it. And then, of course, good old email, Google, and organic. Now, the other Attentive, Rakuten, Bing, those are considered other traffic sources, along with MLD, whatever that is, and is other, which is a pile of other ones. So you can filter on those. Like I was mentioning, like down here, I was mentioning briefly up front. So 25% of his sales are coming from other traffic sources. I also bring this up because the iOS is coming. It's going to affect everyone some, but even if it wasn't coming, I mean, this is not an insignificant amount of money from other traffic sources. So pays to diversify usually. And so in this case, 25% of his revenue over the 3 months came from these other traffic sources, of which here's where the leads came. In this case, you got 8% from Google leads, which came from 15% of Facebook first clicks. So kind of a nice cross-channel journey there. Facebook to Google to either Rakuten, Bing, or text, or ones of the hodgepodge traffic sources. So worth considering. And now we're calling out in the reporting because it's been more prominent. Pin and Snap would fall in other as well. And then separately organic if it's truly organic. So before we were putting these were coming into organic, we realized, oh no, we got to fix that. So we did. So that being said, he sees he's making this money. He comes over here, and I've done two things on the filtering here. I've chosen full impact, and I was like, wait a minute, how's that 100%? So it's slightly over 100%. I'll get into that in a second. So I've chosen full impact because I was thinking about, it's maybe not as well known of a model. So I thought it'd be worth to, use that for this particular case. Plus, because anyone watching, particularly if you have a fresh account or a campaign with only a couple days tracking, it's a nice one to use with not a lot of data yet. Then I've filtered on ads. I happened to pick 3 months. That was just random. I just want to pick 3 months and look at it. And now I come in here and I see my reporting. And of course, we're running, our goal is return on investment, maximize lifetime value. So the idea is scale, chill, or kill each campaign. Should I spend more here? Where should that money come from? Should I stop spending? Is it a dumpster fire? Or should I just chill out and let it continue running? And what I found, the thing we're going to learn today, first of all, is that when something's doing good, bad, or even so-so, the devil's in the details. So if a campaign's doing however it's doing, if you dig into the details of that campaign, you can generally save yourself money or drive up the ROI by moving the weakness in that campaign and moving it to the strength. And so we do this with a particular framework, which I'm going to pull up with these 7 things. Now I have this nice fancier compared to some of my crappy PowerPoint here. This is part of the video series coming out. There's like a 9.5-minute video if you full impact, but then it's also going to be written, and it's also going to have, I don't know if I'll have this image in there or I'll just have it typed in, or, depends on the formatting of the help system we use. But here's the 7 steps we're going to do. We're going to choose full impact, find the high ROI campaigns, optimize with a campaign explorer, move the losing spend within the campaign to the winning areas, and then repeat. So this is a nice fun thing to do because you can start scaling your ROI from money you're already making and taking away from spots you're just losing money that's hidden within an area you're making money. So the campaign's making money, but there's places in there that you're wasting it. And so you can do this at the micro levels and then at the campaign levels, and you can do it at the source levels. You can do it kind of like you can add a microscope. You can see cells and atoms, and you can see a body, then you can see planets. I don't know. Maybe that analogy works. Maybe it doesn't. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 1 to 4, and then we're going to repeat it a couple times. Then we're going to look at the low ROI campaigns and decide 2 things. 1, could we just make it a higher ROI by killing some bad areas in there? Or is it working just in certain areas of my funnel and I just need to tweak the targeting, like turn it off to my email list because it works on cold, or turn it off to cold because it only works on warm. Those are ways you can, save a lot of money or start making more money. So it's the same process each time. So we're going to go through here. So I've already done one. I've choose the full impact. I'm going to do 2, 3, and 4 now. So let's do it. So here we are looking at the campaigns. Some of them are all doing pretty good. But then again, he's e-com with an expensive product costs as well. So making like 30% or 50% is not great for him because he's not selling just vapor. He's not selling info. He actually has real hard costs. So when I look at this Google Shopping, I see 133%. It's not really that amazing. It's okay. I mean, it can be better. So we've identified a campaign. This in case is kind of a lower one, and but still making good ROI. And we're gonna go in there and click on it, and then click Explore Selected. And so what that does is, I picked a Google campaign, so it is going into Google, and it is finding all the ad groups and triggering criteria that happened for that particular campaign. I'm going to do the same thing for Facebook as well here. Now, we made an update to and it was a pretty big one last month, the audience, it wasn't just audiences, but a massive update on the criteria of the ad. See this aggressive auto targeting keyword, is that 3 million or 30 million and 6. And then see here, this change happened. It happened within the 3 months. So this one would have been bucketed under this one. Just it's the same thing. What this is for the Google advertisers out there, there's this little subtle feature called aggressive auto targeting. And it's generally turned on. But what happens, I've noticed this in my own Wicked account, is you've configured an account to do something. And guess what? Google's just showing the ad elsewhere for murky, aggressive criteria that you are never going to know. And it comes back in the reporting as 30 million and 6. And then we dug in, fortunately, I talk to Google every 2 weeks, getting some good access to their product managers now, finally. And we found out, oh, well, that means it's aggressive auto targeting. We found it auto magically because you said, find us some business, Google. So we're now able to show if you should keep that on or not. And guess what? Not doing so hot. And it's driving volume, but it's not driving profitable volume. Now this is, almost break even. Maybe you're okay because you like the volume. You think, they're going to rebuy in 3 or 6 months down the road, and you're okay with that. If not, this is a dud because you spent 22 grand and you still can't make it profitable. Now, this one right here, all this garble is just, this is the triggering of how the shopping campaigns come in. We can kind of read it, product type lobster tails. So the lobster tail shopping campaign is doing great compared to some of these other ones. Let's scroll around and look. Whoa. Okay. Here's another lobster tail one with just a different little bit criteria, different in that number somewhere. 930%. So I kind of lucked out looking at this one, looking at all these negs, like negative 90% lobster tail dinners, but lobster tails is killing it. Now that could mean all sorts of reasons, but if I'm making 900% on something and then I'm not making virtually anything on some other spend, you turn off lobster tail dinners and you spend it on lobster tails. And this is why you need data, because logically you're like, I'm sure when someone creating the ads is like lobster tail dinner, probably the same, it's probably like almost identical. Could be all sorts of reasons why this one's not making it. Maybe you start to type lobster tails, they never get to and then they get to the word dinners and someone has a way better image than you. I could dream up 20 reasons why. This isn't about how to go in and try to fix the ads. This is about how to act on the data. And the data screams, turn off lobster tail dinners and double your ad spend on lobster tails because you're printing money. this is 900% doesn't happen often. I mean, we do see some people, and when your ROI is at like almost 1,000%, it's too much ROI. You should be spending more and getting more volume, more sales. So here's the first thing we're going to say: turn off lobster tail dinners because it's terrible. Something scary about that word dinner. I don't know. And do tails. And then you might want to go back and rework this ad, or just, walk away and just start making more money here. That would be my first one decision. Second thing, the aggressive auto targeting, they spent a lot of money on that. You know why? Because you see, when you don't have this detail and you're looking at the campaign, you saw it pumps up the campaign conversions overall, but it's also pumping up the spend a ton. I consider chopping this off because that's a lot of money to spend relative to the rest of them and not make any money. And same here. Because why not just dominate the lobster tail market? You're making 900%. Pretty simple. We'll scroll down here, see any other exciting. Lobster tail dinner. That one, lobster tail dinner one did okay. So that particular lobster tail dinner, so the fact that there's two also means when you see multiple ones in here, it can mean messy feed is probably a different campaign name, right? Smart shopping Google. There's a little difference in the equal sign. Isn't that crazy? Oh, cross network versus shopping. I was like, what? You gotta, sometimes these naming conventions drive you bananas here. So cross network is a total dud, but if it's on Google Shopping, it's killing it. So see this little thing of cross network, probably something, oh, do you want to show on all the networks? Well, of course you say, yeah, I'll show it everywhere. I want to make all this money. Guess what? You just get relieved of almost $5,000 because you didn't keep it on shopping. Whereas shopping is killing it. So I'm glad we looked at that. See, I'm doing this live. I don't pre-script out these cherry prick scenarios. I just go in and hope I can help you. And so in this case, you would say two interesting things here that people normally might not think of is that cross network setting. You'd say, no, I just want to show it on Google Shopping. And no, I don't want aggressive aggressive auto targeting. And he was saved a bunch of money. And so then let's look here. Like here's one, lobster rolls. Look at this, $8,500. Too much ROI. So pour a bunch of this spend that you're just letting Google fritter away. Why not spend like $3 more grand here, $4 more grand here, and pipe down the cross network auto targeting? So this was some nice easy ones here. So see, these, you'll generally have these in your campaign. So one thing to be note of, yeah, you got to look at all across there, because I was already almost like, what the heck? That says the same thing. What, did I just pull up a bug on my first training? That wouldn't have been good. No, and it was that this medium, cross network versus shopping, was a huge factor. So I'm actually pumped to send this to Mark and his team, because these are like layup things to do. So that's how I would optimize this one. That's what I would do. I would have moved I've already said, I'm going to repeat myself here. That's what I've done for this one. And then that is, if we're looking at our framework, I found the high ROI. Well, that wasn't even that super high ROI campaign. So I'll go pick an even higher one. We'll look. This was optimizing with the Campaign Explorer. I moved the losing spend to the winning. So I didn't have to do anything dramatic. I wasn't saying, oh, I'm moving 50 grand off Facebook to Google. I just found like about $25,000 that he can move. That's over 3 months, right? So it's probably $8,000 that with two settings, if he limits it to shopping, and if he moves that spend and turns off that aggressive auto targeting, he saved a ton of money. And these super high ROI campaigns, he should be making a lot more sales out of them. Now that he's probably not going to keep that sky high ROI. The more you spend it, eventually will start to flatten out. You can only fish out the market so much. But on a Google Shopping campaign, if you're making ROI, there's usually so much volume there to grab. So I'm pretty psyched for him to do that. So that is that. Let's go do a Facebook campaign now. Let me go back. This is all the ads, but I'll go pick a Facebook one with a higher ROI here. Let's do 415 retargeting conversions. Okay, 215%. Let's go try this guy. See what's going on here. Good naming conventions, good targeting. So with Facebook, when you dig in, the term is the ad set and the content is the ad. And when you're looking at all these, everyone has their own crazy naming conventions that are usually necessary. And I do like them. You want to know what the heck it's looking at. You can always click on this eyeball and it will pull up the actual ad. Oh, here's a nice ad. And then you can furthermore say, hey, where was I sending them in that ad? Click that and it will take you to wherever you're sending them. Well, hope he's not running this ad. So see, this one is now buy one, get one free, buy 12 lobsters. So this one's going to slowly start to tank if it's still active because he moved the URL. And then, one other thing there, you can go right to Facebook Ad Manager and make changes if you want. So let's do our process. Let's find places that are winning and losing and move them around. And everything's relative, right? This one might be doing good ROI, but there's some sky high ones. So I'm going to sort by cost descending and see what's going on here. So, okay, 200. So the overall ROI on the campaign, this overall stats up here is 215%. And so now that's like our barometer. Like if things that are above that are doing great and below it are doing less than great, and what do we need to do? So right away, the second one down, 89%, not terrible, but again, relative to these other two, I would move the ad spend. And so two things it could be. This is each row in here is the ad set combination. So it could be that ad's not working on that targeting. Could be the targeting is bad. That targeting just doesn't work, period. And we can filter by each and look around here. Or just in general, it just stinks, So as we scroll down and look, I just want to get an idea. I want to first get an idea of like some really high, really low ROI. So right now, this already has my, already probably on the chopping block because again, the average 215 overall, it's the second highest spend. And I see a bunch of 200s and 100s and 600s. And so judging from that, we want to take the 89%, the $9,500 of the future, and move it to the 622%. And so this one is abandoned cart 1 day. This one's engaged with email, no order. Now, great naming conventions, by the way, in the ad set. So you see, we already just from looking at this have a clue what the targeting is, so we can formulate some game plans here. So engaged with email, no order already means someone that's never bought, tougher person to convert. An abandoned cart is going to be easier to convert. But if he's spending the whole campaign, so in that case, we're at 622%, you should spend more here if possible. Now it's an abandoned cart. So assuming that they haven't run out, that they do run out of budget in a given day, they should keep spending because it's working at 600%. By the way, abandoned cart is like the no-brainer targeting to set up of all time, and it's working. Now, we see engage with email, no order. I can see it here a couple times. Okay, so there's 3, 4 of them here. So now I'm gonna sort by that term and kind of see by the targeting. You know what? I should have filtered by that. Rookie mistake here. Should have filtered by that because otherwise we're gonna be waiting around for this sort to run. I'm going to come in here and see if I can cheat and get ahead of it. Nope. Have to wait a sec. Okay, now I can, yeah, it's going to repopulate that filter, which is a lot of fun. Well, while it's doing that, let's eyeball some other ones here. So see, 700%, you only spent $24. You can't overreact on a $24 ad spend. It was one sale. You got to ignore that. But here, 270%. So see, this is about what the campaign's ROI is doing. So we're going to just let that chill. So this is 600%, but it's only $80. So we're not going to overreact there. This one's kind of nice though, huh? Look at this one, 448%. And this 373. So they're above the ROI for the campaign and very small ad spend. So we don't know if it's just like perfectly skimmed the top of that ad set, or if there's a lot more in there, you want to spend more here for sure. Because they're like within the campaign, this one's making double the ROI off a tiny ad spend, but still 10 sales. We're making some progress here. Let's go for it and spend more. Let's see what the 100 off V3 coupon looks like. I always like looking at the ads. Looked like the other ad we looked at. And so this is interesting too. Like I personally, just someone from Maine originally, it's why you need data. I don't love this looks of this ad. I don't know. Just Mark has some beautiful ads. Like, but I don't know. I don't like it. And it doesn't matter what I think. It's making 448%. So it goes to show what I know about ad appearance. I don't know anything. That the data is showing 448%. So it'd be great. Let me, okay, so I want to try that engaged with email, no order. So you can filter your ad sets here, and you can create wildcard searches. You can just type in the word, and then you could save the filter as well. So I can run this, and then if I was going to constantly come back here and have to, pick this, I could just save the filters. So sometimes that's a cool way to save particularly certain ad sets or Google criteria. So now we've got this particular campaign and this particular ad set. Now I'm going to sort by costs and just see how many's he got of them. So 28 different combinations. Because I want to see, does this ad set work at all? Now I happen to notice that, hey, that ad set's showing up a couple times, well, 28 times. So let's check and see how it's doing a double optimization. One, the ROI for this one seemed low, but two, how does this overall ROI on this particular ad set is 137%. So it's an engaged with email. So it's a, but never has ordered before. So it has a higher bar to entry. But looking here at the same, I encourage you to do this when you get the ad set going up against a bunch of ads, which ad's winning against the ad set? In this case, right here, let's see if this one's different. And then, no, and then sometimes if you have dynamic ads, it's not going to show, and all the different combinations, what could be happening is they have a dynamic ad and it's showing up just this particular version of the creative. So that could be what happening. That's where you probably got to read through your stuff here. Break, bank, short copy, buy one, get one, whatever, BOGO. That can mean all sorts of things, so that naming convention. But the point being, I would take this 89%, 9,500. It's not insignificant money. This is 3 months, right? $3,000. So it's $100 a day. I'd turn this guy off, put it on this one because it's the same targeting and it's working, almost 3 times as good. And so that's the repeatable framework here. Again, go in there, move the losers to the winners, repeat. And this works great with full impact. You can do it immediately because full impact's our most optimistic, giving the most revenue possible to a campaign. So if something isn't making money in full impact, it's not making money. And then the only other question is, can I optimize this ad based on, if it's a losing ad, can I turn off or on different cold traffic, warm traffic combinations to maybe make it work only at certain parts of my funnel? So let's go in and look at a losing campaign. Let me go back to campaign and apply that out. Now, one additional thing here with full impact you'll see is this incremental offline conversion sales. So we have been pushing conversions to Facebook since 2017. We built this with the Facebook conversion team. First people to do this. We take any unattributed orders and send them up. And Facebook has this way of semi-masking which orders go where, but which exact order it is, but we know it's from the pool of unattributed orders, and it gives us attribution. Now, this is going to be impacted with iOS 14. It's going to be less of these available because right now we have a very wide window available. But this gives you an idea of where there's view-based conversions happening that you can trust because we don't have a click for that order, so we will take the view. And we don't have an organic, so we're saying, okay, we will take the view because there's no organic and there's no paid clicks. And so that's what these are. These are additional conversions coming from view through bottom of the funnel. So that's what that little piece is in this little added revenue. As you can see, it's a very small amount. It's not usually a game-changing amount, but it's some, and every little bit helps when you're trying to get ROI. So it's good to know if it's working there or not. Now, if something's in full impact and it's a really low ROI, it is probably not that great because we're looking across all the models and giving full revenue credit. So you can see here, there's virtually nothing that's going to be neg, virtually nothing. Here's one, video in stream. So that one has been running. It's negative 19%. So with the negative ones, God, my mouse has the worst time trying to hit that scroll bar. It's happens to me constantly. I think it's when I'm on Zoom or something. It's like, anyway, I can still see right here though, so we're in luck. How long's the ad been running? Well, this is the first date we tracked a click, and then, oh, that's 2020. So these are just old, and 2021. So it's a very old, cheap, barely used campaign, but it stands out. It's like the only neg, which is kind of shocking. Here's another one neg. So the video ads have been doing very so-so on AdWords. Something to look at. Why is that? So I'm going to go into this. I'll go into this neg one here. Because the question is, should I just move that spend and move somewhere else? So this one's going to, well, pretty easy optimizer. So here was where we had lobster keywords. And then this was AdWords video viewer. This was prior to us having our new integration. So you can, they have a lobster keywords created as an audience. Those Google audiences can work quite well. And then they're showing them to people on AdWords that have searched for certain keywords. Show them on YouTube. AdWords, dating myself, Google ads. And then let's see how it's been doing. So the newer ad running since a little over 2 months, still making neg and making neg. I would kill this campaign. It's just not panning out. Or if there's a way you want to try to optimize it inside of Google, do so. But otherwise I'd kill it. A side scroll wheel would be nice. I have the up down scroll. I don't have the side one. Thanks for the tip. Need a mouse purchase in my future here. So this one I'd kill. You can see, I mean, because look at all the ROI he's making all over the place, that if something's not working, it's safe to say it's not working. It's okay if something doesn't work. I mean, you got to test a lot of things to find out what's going to actually work. So you either have to go into the ad platform and try and make this ad better, or make the targeting better, or stop spending the money on it. Those are your options. So this is kind of how this works. So this came from a video that's coming out in here, how to optimize full impact attribution. Won't have that little thing on it, but we have these, this is the 9-minute video I was telling you about. It's going to come in. So if you're on full impact, I haven't figured out yet how we're going to do it, but it's going to slide in and have the video plus the framework plus where to get more help from. Is another chatter? Thanks. Sharon hooking me up. I'll be clicking that link because this happens to me. I got a Microsoft mouse. It's not cutting it. So that's how the process works. So now that's really all I have to say on it. So I guess it's just a question of what questions do you have, or any other questions off topic I can take as well. Recommendations feature. I have, and you know what that just reminded me of is that on these Google campaigns, we do have this cool little thing here at the campaign level. So you can click on this eyeball, and this will actually is based on impression share. So I just clicked on a Google campaign, and now this is showing a projected revenue and forecasted based on your current ROAS and some other things. But what we do here, this is similar. And yeah, I did consider, so the answer, we did consider recommendations. The tricky part is we have to know the tracking is dialed in, and we got to know the buying cycle. There's a lot to it, but we're eventually going to have the stuff just, act for you. But it's a multi-year project to make it a full-fledged automatic ad buying platform. So right now you gotta think a little. Thanks for the question though. So right here in Google, you can go in and so here's the smart shopping campaign where we saw the lobster tails were doing good and the one with the cross network wasn't and the auto retargeting wasn't. They're only getting 21% of the impression share. Impression share, I got it up here, but is how many times is your ad showing versus how many times could it have shown? And the easiest way to scale on, well, I mean, nothing's easy with scaling ads, right? But a very easy intellectual thing to understand is if you're making money somewhere and you could just show your ad more, why wouldn't you do that? And so what this is saying is, hey, you're only showing it 20% of the time. So you should probably spend more money because you're missing out on 97,000 impressions. So where we saw that smart shopping, where he had those optimizations, he should definitely spend more because he has a massive amount of impression share available. So that's a no-brainer. So I guess I just said I answered it live. Yeah, recommend the moving the ad spend though. Great idea, Jake, and we're pretty keen to do that. It's just I'm going to say that I answered that one, but I didn't answer it with a yes. It's just that we want to do that. Yeah. Okay. Another question. My brother running his mouth about something. We're going to ignore that. Okay. How do you check LTV of people who bought from Facebook? Okay. So a couple ways. Let me see if this particular one does not have LTV. However, we have cohort reports. So since you asked for people who bought, we're going to do new customer cohort. Let me get an idea of this guy's Facebook. Because it's a little more interesting if we can get his cohort. If we can guess, I think his price to acquire customers like I got 67 in there. Let's just use that. So this is a monthly customer cohort. And then we're going to go ahead and type in Facebook. He's got a lot of sources. This might take time. I gotta learn how to type too. You know what? I'm just gonna run it while I explain how it works. So here's how cohort works. We look at a period and we look when people bought, and then we can see their lifetime value over time. We also have LTV at the high level. We have LTV all over the place, but this one I like best because it's the next question was also around cohort. Okay, Jake, for the red eyeball to appear, you have to activate the Google optimizer. It's over here under settings. So I'll show you that in a second. So let me leave that one as unanswered so I can get to it. Let me get back to the chat. So the LTV is generally a couple ways. There's the cohort report. Of course, I got 3 kids pounding my Zoom for school, remote school learning. So this sometimes can take a while. So here's like the LTV of every customer per month, broken down per month. So you can see how many new customers you got, how many days till break even at this spend, and then their value over time. So what we do here on this break even, it's kind of interesting. We take how many customers, times it by the CAC you put in, and so that gives us some value, right? Let's do this December one. So if you spent 900 grand, and what's this, 31 days in September? So you're spending 29,000 bucks a day. Is that right? Yeah, 29,000 bucks a day. And we know when these customers came in, you were spending 67 per, no. Yeah, 67 per. So you're spending 29 grand a day. How long till your break even? How much till the customers you're acquiring broke that number? And so it's 11 days to break even. It's like a budgeting tool based on how many customers you get. This is a whole nother training coming up, so I don't get too into it, but I love this report. And then this shows how much more value over time. Sometimes you get a ton of customers and they don't increase in value a lot. Now, in Mark's case, they do a pretty good job of increasing the value over time. Like look at, oh, it's February 26th. I was like, what the hell happened in February? Okay, I only had 2 days in there. Like looking in April, okay, well, 225 on month 1, they're worth another $100 once you get to month 8. So you can't really run your campaigns based on, man, I hope I make all this money in 8 months, but it's kind of nice to know, hey, I got another $100 per customer coming in. So these, I mean, that's another 500, Well, I mean, it's another $585,000 he's made on this cohort of customers. And so then to filter by the ads, by the different, you can filter by the traffic here to see the different customers, the different traffic sources, excuse me. All right, Sharon. Cohort A of buyers came from campaign, then how it performed on the back end and active campaign. Yeah, so I think I can answer that. So in your example, how can you tell if cohort A of buyers came from a Facebook campaign and then how they performed on the back end from other stuff they bought? That's what this does, I believe. So this is lead. This is the customers. We do the same thing for leads. If you come in under lead cohort, that's saying if Active Campaign's your CRM, show me everyone that came in from. Let's just do that one. Why not? I'm gonna do. I think he's $11 CPL. He's using Klaviyo and Infusionsoft, so we can do this for multiple. It takes I did it for a whole year, so it can take, of course, every second feels like 5 minutes when you're presenting, which I do a lot of, and I never get used to the fact things don't load right away. It drives me insane. But this one probably take about 20 seconds. But basically, this report is saying, show me all the leads gathered for a month, how many of them turned into customers, and then show me their value over time. I think that's what you were looking for. So let's look at, I don't know, November. 47,000 leads, new leads appeared between his Klaviyo and Infusionsoft. He's converted 4,311 to customers sometime from their lead date. And it took 24 days to break even if I was paying $11 a lead. And I budgeted, and I spent that whole amount. And then how much are they worth now? Well, they were 19 after month one. They were 11 when I acquired them. They were 19 in month one, and they're $23 now. So he's made another $4. Well, Sharon, this is why we're doing this. This LTV, these cohort stuff is huge because you figure out your buying cycle to start with. Because otherwise, of course, I mean, Wicker Post, we run ads and we're like, oh shit, we're not making money. It's been 3 days. Everyone does it. You want to be rich immediately and move on to the other stuff in your task list. But sometimes, like, you buy a ton of leads. Look at this in August, 99,000 leads he buys, never profitable. So, hey, we're going to ramp up lead gen. Well, if you're buying crappy leads, it doesn't work. I mean, you may buy great leads. I don't know. It doesn't work. And then what happens? Overcorrection. Oh my God, that was terrible. Get strict. Only buys 14,000 leads. Then look, they're way more valuable. This is like the yo-yo of the emotions. We're going to blow it out. Oh my God, the leads are terrible. Okay, the leads are great. Okay, buy more. Now they stink. And then December, like, he printed money. Everyone likes to buy lobster gift certificates and stuff for Christmas. So then look at, like, back in the day, used to be super valuable leads. Well, that was, when COVID first hit and everyone probably flipped out and ordered online. Now, okay, so Jake, on the red eyeball, that is done through Google Conversion Optimizer. So if you're doing Google bidding, you come in here and you checkbox that you want to enable it, and then we'll start pushing conversions into Google. We have a major upgrade to this screen coming in about, I hope it's like a week or two, with all kinds of new informative stuff and different options. So I don't want to get into this piece too much because I'm going to be blabbing about it a lot in a couple of weeks. But what it basically does is we'll capture GCLIDs and we'll send them to Google for you each morning. And so, so we capture the Google click ID. Was it a lead? When it was converted? What campaign? And send it into Google. I would show you inside the Google account, but I got to get through my MCC. We got like a couple hundred accounts in there. We don't manage anyone's ad spend. We're not competing with our agency partners, but we connect that so that we can push conversions in and do any debugging or analysis you want in there. Not any analysis, but we can go in there and just make sure things are working okay. And so here's all his different, and then here's like a Shopify order ID versus his Klaviyo, Google customer ID, click ID. So this was just for one day. Geez, display custom intent looking kind of nice there. And then here's the breakdown of the conversions. There's a lot of people in Google are all just worried about the bottom of the funnel, right? 28% of his conversions were bottom of the funnel. So 72 were top middle. So we send those all into him, and then it helps inform his smart bids. So if you do this, I don't know if it's instantaneous, but within a day or two, the eyeball shows up. Yes. So ours is ROI. It's not return on ad spend. It's ROI. So ROI is revenue. So the question, what Wicked reports is ROI is actually return on ad spend, but doesn't factor in product cost, shipping, VAT, etc. Well, it's true we don't factor in product costs. It's on our roadmap to do. We're just debating the most intelligent way to do it. It's maybe Q2, definitely Q3 is we're going to do product costs. Just trying to sort out an easy way for you to maintain all your costs, because everyone's, Shopify product costs are a shit show in there. But then why is ours going to be any better? Return on investment, the formula is revenue minus costs divided by cost. Return on ad spend is revenue divided by costs expressed as a decimal. So let me show you that in a little handy notepad. So let's just say revenue is $3,000 and costs are, geez, why am I going to make a hard math problem? Let's just do 2,000. Let's make it simple. Okay, so here's your scenario. Your ROI is 0%. You didn't make any money. It's $2,000 minus 2K divided by 2K equals 0. Your ROAS, revenue divided by costs, is 2K divided by 2K. Your ROAS would be 1.0. Every dollar you spend, you return a dollar. But your return on your investment needs to make profit. So you're 0%. So if you're an agency, you prefer ROAS because it's a higher number. And if you're a brand, you prefer ROI because it's like, what do I want to spend if I didn't make any money? Let's look at if I lost money. I spent $2,000 and I got $1,000. That's what I should have done. Your return on investment is negative 50%, but your ROAS is 0.5. It looks a lot better to say, well, my ROAS is 0.5 than that negative sign. Nobody wants to see negative. We show the number in red, but the whole point of it is to make money. So not to do all that time, because the break even, right? You got product costs, then you get the costs of, the ads, time, opportunity costs. So you really want to make money. So that's why we do it. I mean, I totally understand agencies would rather have ROAS because it looks better, and our brands want ROI because they want to know if they're losing money. And that's just how we do it. So hope that answered you, Jake. Craig, is there a way to filter out customer or product type from the LTV report? I'd like to be able to filter. So you can. Trouble is, you know what? I'm going to have to do 2 reports here to get there. So I'm going to go to product reporting. Our product reporting hasn't been updated. This particular report, not attractive. I don't think we've looked at it in like 4 years, but we need it because when we need to figure out what we're going to run product attribution on. And so the product data is only as good as the product data in your system. Shopify, nice and clean. Anything else depends on how good your stuff is. So I'm just going to grab this. I see he's done a lot of, I did a year. Let me just do the past month. And what I'll do is I'll go in and show you how to filter this. But before I do that, I think Get Me Lobster has, 2,000 SKUs probably. Everyone has like so many freaking SKUs that you're going to see the same thing in here a lot. So I'm doing this first to say, okay, buy 12, get 12 free. Here's a product ID. So I know I can, let's go in and now do that. So for the product cohort, so if you want to do lifetime value like this cohort, we have the product cohort. You can come in here and pick the product that was purchased. So whatever that beef Wellington, boom. Cost to acquire the customer. Let's do the $67. Okay, and then separately, wow, look at it. Now, why would that run so fast? Oh, probably because I have one product ID. It sliced right through. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I don't think I've run this report in like years. So these are the people that bought whatever this SKU is, buy 12, get 12 free. Were they new or repeat? Days to break even if they're at $67, and then their lifetime value over time. This is great for, your scenario would work, but also cheapy products to get in the door and then see if they're valuable over time. So look at this one, 248. Now they're worth 340, 354. Geez, this product is phenomenal. Look at this one, 235. Now they're worth double. Well, 483. Why is that almost the same? It's weird that they stopped on that 1 month. They're just doing so great and then didn't spend any this month. There's only 90 of them. Maybe that's why. Well, so that's how you do it from this type of analysis. But then also, where the heck? I got a lot of windows open now. You can filter by product here. So let me just paste that guy in. I have no idea how this one's going to even work, but this will show you low ROI. So this isn't the most spectacular thing to make decisions on from here, because it's only going to show people that bought this product. Now, a lot of people buy this product. They lead with it a lot in ads, so it won't be so terrible. But I just wanted to say, so this is showing sales from this product, which they still have quite a few of them. Oh, I did exclude. Jesus. I was like, man, it seems like a lot of people bought that. Bug in my, it's like, it's a bug. God damn it. Okay, so see, then they got really more negative. There's still a lot of sales there. This product obviously is their top selling product. But see, like now, you don't want to make a decision on the ROI on that unless the campaign was just pushing that product. Now, some of you have different use cases, just a couple products, or you're driving everyone to a trial product first. Then you want to see if they took the upsell or, the continuity. So that's how you include and exclude products. This is fun. These questions are awesome. I'm running out of time though. Awesome, Craig. Psyched. Glad you liked it. Answer live. Woo or Shopify will do these. So, but that's why you wouldn't want to act on the ROI though, because the ads could have bought other products, but it's still just cool to know. And this one is a ton of these products, ton. I mean, yeah, he sold 800 quantity in 3 weeks. So that's what I got for you today. That was good. I got a cruise. Oh, I did enjoy the coffee, the decaf coffee. Drinking decaf, drinking Purity coffee. We should use a spot. Next month we could do a sponsor of the week. I'll throw you in there, man, next time, because it's going to record and go out to we get some thousands of users, so we could send that out. That would be cool. I'll do that. So we'll put it in the deck or whatever. Thanks for attending. That's what I have for today. I hope it was helpful. I'm glad people stayed on. It was fun to do. The questions were great. And I'm just really psyched that we're at a point in our, growth that I got the time to do this now too, most importantly. So that helps. So I'm going to stop the recording now, and everyone have a good one. Take it easy.